3.
They're shipped right to your house. We got the peach, we got the watermelon, we got the pina colada, and the blue raspberry. We are currently live in over 300 stores in Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, the Outer Banks in North Carolina. And if you're heading out to the Major League ballparks this summer, make sure to check us out in the Miami Marlins Stadium, as well as Tropicana Field, home to the Tampa Bay Rays, as well as the Tampa Bay Rowdies. We are live inside all 3 stadiums. So if you're down in Florida this year, check us out. Go to hardafseltzer.com today and check your store locator or order them right to your house.
Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by GhostBed.com.
Yeah, welcome to week 4 of the College Football Prediction Show, brought to you by MyBookie.com. Promo code Drinkin' Bros doubles that first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Hit the fucking parlay again last night. No need for me to reload the accounts. Great weekend in the NFL. Great weekend on Monday nights. For whatever reason, D'Anthony, I'm still missing the big college football game every single week. It was Colorado this week, man. That was the big game that I bet on, and I'm having a great year, except for this one fucking game, but that's where I bet most of my money. Like, I'll usually pick one game that I feel the most confident in, and ironically, I lost again on the fucking Colorado game, dude.
Maybe you need to take Wu-Tang's advice and diversify your bonds.
I have been diversifying my bonds, but I felt good about Deion, the whole shit. So did everybody else, apparently. The ratings just dropped right now. 9.3 million viewers on ESPN, and that was for a late night game. Now, typically, that's the Pac-12. That's a fucking UCLA or a USC or an Arizona or somebody like that. They don't usually put Colorado on, because isn't Colorado in Central Time?
No, it's Mountain Time.
Oh, it's Mountain Time. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they're 2 hours behind, not 3 here. God damn, those numbers are incredible. To put it in perspective, I think Saturday Night Live was lucky to draw 3 million. I mean, you're not even close there. That's why there's no end in sight to these strikes. No need when you have ratings like this. Good on them, man. I watched every single second of the game. If I didn't have money on it, it was a great fucking game to watch. I mean, it was entertaining as shit from start to finish. So I really enjoyed that. Also really enjoyed Deion Sanders' press conference earlier. Just watched it before we went on air here. He had some nice words to say about that kid. So the kid who took Hunter out for the next 3 weeks on that hit, you know, you can call it an illegal hit or whatever you want. It should have been flagged either way for something.
Yeah.
Defenseless receiver or targeting. I actually didn't catch the hit live, so I can't really comment on it. But as far as that, he did it in his press conference, take time out of his day to say, look, I want all the cameras focused in on me. Please stop sending death threats to this kid, his family, and everybody else regarding that hit. It happens. It is football. At the end of the day, it is a game. There is no life or death in football. Please stop bothering this kid. He is a young man trying to make his way in the world, and let him grow up and have a good life. Mistakes happen.
That's I feel like that's just nonsense virtue signaling.
From who?
From Deion and everybody else involved. Oh, somebody said some mean shit on the internet to him, and now he's gonna fucking go into hiding. Shut the fuck up.
A bunch of people send this kid death threats.
What people? It's illegal to do that, right?
It sure is.
So did they get arrested?
Well, I know they've turned it over to the authorities, and then they'll go from there.
Everybody's a fucking victim. Even the guy that fucking blindsided somebody and lacerated his fucking liver, putting him in real danger in real life. But he's bitching, crying about, oh, well, the outcome was the internet's mad. Like, fuck you, dude. That guy's a soft little bitch.
He didn't say it.
Sure he did.
They are being harassed. Like, it's not just Twitter. Somehow their phone numbers were leaked, so there is like real.
It's the internet. That shit happens. Change your fucking phone number. It takes 10 minutes.
But look, for somebody to get death threats over a hit and things like that, to me, because the kid didn't say anything. I did not hear this from the kid himself.
This has been the internet the entire time the internet has existed.
It is, but shit's gonna be fucking amped up like this. I'm with him. I don't want this kid to get fucking death threats or any of that shit. Like, go after his fucking family. They're not prepared for anything.
I get death threats all the time.
Do you really?
It's not that big a deal. Yeah,
I don't.
People DM me weird shit all the time. If you say it's funny, or if you say something that's funny, I don't give a shit. You get away with it. What am I gonna do? Like, oh man, I got a bunch of fucking death threats for this. Oh God, I'm a victim now. Like, fuck off.
I do agree. Like, there are a lot of people, because I have received death threats in my life as well.
Have you really?
Yeah. Well,
what am I doing wrong?
Almost every day at work, actually, because he won't shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I've never gotten any. What were yours over?
Well, first off, I think Dan's warming up to me, so I don't think it's gonna. I don't think he threatens to kill me as much as he used to.
Sure.
It depends on how the Braves do in the postseason.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah, but who do you guys blame? You both host a fucking baseball
Well, no,
show.
I'm not gonna blame him, but I do need to fucking take my anger out on someone.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
No, we get him like. So here's the thing, though. Like, when you hear like a journalist say like, I'm getting death threats, a lot of times, most of the time, I have gotten what would qualify as that, which is like a DM that's like, I'm gonna kill you, bitch, or like, you should die, or you should kill yourself. That's really what they're talking about. Only once have I had someone find my address and send me something.
Really?
Yeah.
What was it?
A letter, a handwritten letter.
I
Man or
remember,
woman?
yeah.
I
Man or
showed it to
woman?
Dan.
That was when you were at TFM, right?
I was in response to something I wrote at TFM, but it was while I worked here.
What?
So it was someone sent me a handwritten letter disagreeing with what I wrote, with calling me like a bitch or something. Like, I had just had a baby, so I was like, this isn't great.
That is great though. See, this is my dream.
Well, it's your dream, but not everybody else's. Yeah, dude, we know it's your dream. It's not any of ours.
So I don't.
Shit.
I just look.
You're just like Kevin McAllister, but your only trap is that you're sitting in a rocking chair 20 feet from your front door with a gun.
Yeah, he wishes his parents were gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I don't want a fucking death threat. I've never gotten a death threat.
There's like a trail of Skittles leading up to my front porch. Just please come to my house.
We'll take Dan's hopes and dreams out of this, but I like the response. And look, all that shit happens. It sucks, but it happens.
It happens all the time, but it is this was very pointed. A pointed way to fucking turn this kid who is the violator, who is a piece of shit, into the fucking victim. That's all this is. It's just media nonsense.
He didn't do it to himself, so it was not the
No.
the
I'm
kid
not saying
himself.
I'm not saying it's fake. I'm saying that they're using this to turn the narrative around from that kid being a dirty player.
It was a dirty hit.
It was
it was
a dirty hit that put a kid in a fucking hospital unnecessarily. Now he's the victim. You see how that works? Fuck that guy.
I understand, but it's the media doing it, not him. I've not heard from the kid, is what I'm saying.
Piece of candy.
That's all.
Well,
I'm
how do
saying.
you think the media heard about it? What do you think they're fucking in his DMs? Like, seriously? No, he fucking called him and told him, or his dad did or some shit.
I think here's what I think. I think the university got involved, and I think they turned some of the shit over to the police, to the feds, or whatever.
And then they called the media to make themselves look better.
Somebody did.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's the kid specifically that's trying to turn himself into a victim here, but that is what is happening.
Yeah, look.
And it's fucking pathetic.
It's going to happen in the media all the time.
You did a fucked up thing. You did a bad thing to another person that put their life in danger, and now you're trying to play you're getting cast as the victim. Just own it. Say, yeah, I was wrong. It was fucked up. But I haven't heard him say that either. All I've heard is that now he's a fucking victim. Fuck that guy.
I'm surprised Colorado fans are that intense now that they actually think that this is going to be a team that could win a national championship, because this is going to all end this weekend.
It's it's total bullshit. These are fair weather death threats.
Yeah.
You need to be sending those death threats when you're going 1-11.
Yeah.
I don't know the kid's name, and I wasn't watching that hit specifically live because I was putting the kids down. But I will say this: give it until Saturday. They will get run out of the building by Oregon by plus 21 points, which we're going to cover this week, and all will be forgotten, friends. Because after that game, which Colorado State is one of the worst teams in college football. I'm starting to get over the Colorado hype. Do I think they'll be good in the future? Yes. Every recruit and kid will probably want to play there, and it's fun. Who doesn't want to hang out with The Rock and Lil Wayne and all those people?
Well, how much longer do you think Deion's going to be there?
I would say, I would have said shorter if FSU was doing terrible this year. But I think Deion will be there for his kids until they graduate. And then I think he's got one of two dream jobs, and that's either to coach the Atlanta Falcons or FSU. However, both teams are doing well right now, so it'll go on another year, and then we'll see what happens. But I'll My over-under for Deion at Colorado is 3 years. Tops.
When does the what's the kid's name? Shiloh?
Yeah.
When does he graduate?
Great question. Do you know how old he is?
He's a defensive back, right?
Yeah.
Shiloh Sanders, he's 23.
He's 23.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything these days. Shit.
No, but does he have any other kids?
So if he is 23, or he is 23, I'm not saying if he is 23, but because he is 23, he may still have another year of eligibility because of COVID.
Gotcha.
Let's see. He played one game for South Carolina in 2019. So that's probably a redshirt year. He played that COVID year, so one. Then he only played a couple of games at Jackson State in 21. So he might still have 2 more years of eligibility left, actually.
Yeah.
But either way, as soon as his kids are gone, I assume he's leaving too, right?
But where do you think he's going?
I don't know. But it's not going to be there. And as soon as he leaves, the second he announces he's leaving, everybody that's good on that team is transferring somewhere else.
Yep.
Unless they bring in some other huge high-profile coach. Mm-hmm. And the energy is going to be sucked out of that place like a prolapsed asshole.
Yes, I agree.
It's going to be a giant peak sock from Colorado all the way to the East Coast.
Oh, yeah.
Deion's probably going to end up.
Oh, yeah.
And it's...
He did say,
pointless.
So they were asking Deion about the NFL thing. He said he's gotten some calls. He said it is college or nothing for him. He said he loves coaching kids and he has no desire to coach adults. And he thinks that is God's higher calling. So take it for what it's worth. Who knows? But I would have said FSU, but FSU's having a pretty good year so far. If they shit the bed, then yeah, I'm sure they'll be calling just because he can bring in the recruits and turns out he might be a pretty decent coach. So we'll see.
Yeah, he's Bob was talking about it yesterday on recap. The scheming on the offensive side is good for this team. So
the other
I don't know who their OC is, but it's either whatever it is. Deion has chosen a good staff. In addition to being a good recruiter and coach himself, he's chosen a good staff.
The other thing that you should really, really consider in this was that 9.3 million viewers that I mentioned at the top of the show. TV money is what has driven all these conference realignments right now. And if you have a guy who is able to come in to whatever division it is, SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12, and bring in these kind of numbers on a consistent basis, that's worth a fuck ton of money, man.
Yeah.
And he can write his own ticket.
What happens if Saban retires and Deion goes to Alabama?
You know, great
That's
question.
what I was thinking.
Great question. Stephen A. Smith and all those guys this morning were like, I hate this Alabama team.
We talked about I talked about this 2 weeks ago, but I think Saban is going to retire. Mm-hmm. He doesn't look like Saban was the Cal Ripken of college football, or he was a mixture of Cal Ripken and Wade Boggs. Hyper-focused, the same exact routine every day, down to the meals he ate. And you know, you could say, like, he's old school, he doesn't want to change, but he has changed before. Mm-hmm. Because the first title he won was running defense, you know what I mean, at LSU.
Yeah.
It was an old school SEC title. But then he morphed because he knew he had to into several high-powered offenses that won him additional titles. You know what I mean? So it isn't like he can't change, but he is very clearly refusing to now. When it comes to NIL and the portal, you know what I mean, and just the overall general strategy of what's going on in the modern college football game. So I think he's done. I think he wants out. I think he wants to go fucking cruise off into the sunset. Nobody's ever going to win 7 titles again. I don't think. Not with the portal stuff these days. No way.
It's impossible.
The only guy that's even got an outside shot is Kirby, and that's because he's won 2 already and he's young. But he's the only one. Maybe Urban, if he comes back and gets in a good situation, he can win. But 5 more, probably not.
It's too much, man. I think it's Saban. The interesting thing that I've noticed about Saban, and I've also noticed about Belichick, and ironically, they're best friends in real life. Both of them look lifeless. I wouldn't be surprised if Belichick is out of New England. I wouldn't be surprised if Saban is out of Alabama. At that game, because, you know, we were front row at that fucking game. He looked exhausted on the sidelines of just like, what the fuck happens? Like, what happened to all of this? And I think he's exhausted with all of it.
The glory days are over.
They are.
He knows it. I mean, look, it's time to fucking move on, bud.
Kirby, by the way, is on pace ahead of Saban.
Sure, yeah.
Age and national title.
Certainly, but things lined up pretty well for Saban. I don't like a lot of people have won early titles in their career and never won shit again. You know what I mean?
And you're about to go to a 12-team playoff here. That's going to get even harder because then you got to try to keep.
I think that helps Georgia. I think that helps the Georgias and Alabamas, well, the previous versions of Alabamas of the world, because they have depth that no one else has.
They do, but you still got to watch for kids that are maybe going to sit out because you're going to ask them to play 17 fucking games.
Yeah. And there's also going to be the 5-12 matchup, like in March Madness. There's going to be the upset matchup. We'll discover it over the next 4 or 5 years, but there will be something like that. But
it'll be like a USC who throws 600 yards, or a Penix, or somebody who just eliminates.
But all things being equal, on average, I think he's right that the Blue Bloods are going to do better. And look, there's Alabama's got the boosters, and they're well positioned to take a guy like Deion and maximize him revenue-wise, and fucking pivot to the portal and NIL stuff and make that the powerhouse that it was before.
Oh wait, can I give
for
you
real? Like I don't know if anybody other than somebody like Deion or Urban. I don't know if Urban Meyer's reputation is too tarnished to come into a place like that and do it now, or Texas or somewhere like that. Who knows?
I don't think anybody's reputation is tarnished to the point where just that Art Briles guy. That's it. Everybody else, like even Hugh Freeze, just keeps failing upwards. For Christ's sake,
it's not about failing though. It's about how you treat people. Mm-hmm. That's what coaching in college is about. How you treat people. You know what I mean? It's like being able to recruit, convincing parents to let your kids come there, selling them on the university and all that stuff. It's not like the NFL where it's a business transaction.
And Deion is one of the very best at that.
I've never seen anybody better than him.
So
in this short amount of time, like what he's been able to do from a fucking what's effectively a junior college to a real school. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Hunter, people forget he was the #1 recruit in the entire nation.
Yeah.
And he got him to go to an HBCU. Like, I mean, that's fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would love to see him at a real blue blood organization. There's a ceiling on what can happen at Colorado. You think, right?
I think so, yes. Especially
because he's not going to be there long enough, I don't think, to because this is a good test model. But I think any recruit that's a senior or junior in high school right now is thinking the same thing I am. Like, well, he's not even going to be there by the time I graduate. Do I really want to move myself to fucking Boulder, Colorado, and then have to move down to LA or somewhere else after?
Because what he did with the HBCU that he was at was he essentially looked at that team and cherry picked the best players, 4 of them,
and told everybody else to get the fuck out.
Yeah, he just said, look, I'm going to take you guys, and then the rest of you, good luck with your days here. And the black community was pissed off about it, but it was like, no, man, it's just there's levels. And this is just a higher level, and Colorado was the biggest job that was offered to him, so he took it. But yeah, my money was on FSU, but they're doing pretty well. Alabama, though, who knows? I would have said Dabo back in the day, but he's not changing either. So it's like,
yeah, he still has the potential to change. He's a young man as well, but why hasn't he?
I don't know.
Question, right?
I don't know. It is odd. As always on the prediction show here, we'll go through the hits and misses of last week. Subscribe to Drinkin' Bros Sports on Facebook. It is free. You will get to see all of the bet slips from mybookie.com. Again, that promo code is Drinkin' Bros. That'll double your first deposits. So what we do every week on this show is we'll go through what we got right and what we got wrong here, and then hopefully improve upon it next week. Pretty good week other than Colorado. Shit, man. I've missed the big game in college football every week, but the rest of it I've been pretty goddamn good here. Miami versus Bethune-Cookman. There was no spread, nothing to talk about there. 48-7, who gives a shit? Georgia, South Carolina. Now, we told you on the show, I told you that I was going to sprinkle this just because this is the first time that Georgia's playing a team with actual adults on a school that we know, and we know at least one player. And now that Tennessee got shit-canned by Florida, they have a cakewalk into the Final Four, and that's it. Like, it's a weird season, man. Congrats to Georgia on this schedule, but it was 14-3. South Carolina was up at half in this one. And if you listened to the show last week, we told you to take the points. It was a lot of fucking points, 28.5, and that covered. So good on you. I did sprinkle on that money line in South Carolina because it would have paid off at $2,000, dude. It was 20-1. Why not take a risk? Michigan, Bowling Green, meh. They blew him out, didn't care. Corum scored another couple TDs there, 100 yards, 12 carries. They got him out of there, stayed healthy. It's exactly what they needed to do.
Florida State, Boston College. Shocker to me. I had a lot of money on Florida State in this one. I believed in Florida State, and they let me down. That Castanella's kid for BC, I watched this game. It was really fun to watch for BC.
Yeah, I mean, they were. This to me was just a really bad execution on Florida State's part. They had multiple turnovers, 1 for 9 on third down. You don't win games like that. I mean, BC's not great, but here's the the worst stat from this game is that BC had 18 penalties for 131 yards lost, and they still only lost this game by 2 points.
Yeah, and even then they had a chance to win at the end.
Yeah. Like they probably should have won this game. They also had 7.5 more minutes of possession.
Yeah.
Like you can't. There's no. Unless you've got fucking Patrick Mahomes on your team, you can't play like this and win. I don't care how good you are.
No, and so you ask yourself, is this a wake-up call for Florida State, or are they just not that good?
I think it's a wake-up call. I think it's like because we've seen them play. They're good. This is a
it's a decent enough squad.
It is a high-quality team, and this is just one of those games during the season where you're like, fuck, I'm glad we almost fucking fucked our whole season up right there. I'm glad we didn't.
Yeah, and now the wild thing is the next game we got right as well. It was Wyoming versus Texas. That was another 28.5 spread. We said to take Wyoming. That won. The odd thing was this was 10-10 going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Texas ended up turning on and scoring 3 touchdowns.
That did not cover 28.5.
Who did?
Texas.
Yes. No, Texas did not. We took Wyoming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we all took Wyoming in the show. And with that, like you can go back to the bets. Took Wyoming and all the things. They covered, and it was great. But the weird thing to me about this game was Texas leapfrogs Florida State. Both of them didn't look great this year. I mean, this weekend. So why would they flip-flop and leap one another? I don't really understand that. But
I don't know. I mean, if I'm looking at the way these two games went down, Florida State gave up 2 scores late. It's like, and it made it way closer than it should have been. But Texas looked like shit until late. You know. I don't know. How do you gauge that? I don't know.
But how do you jump the other team for it?
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Me neither.
I mean, Boston College is probably better than Wyoming, you would think, right?
Wyoming beat Texas Tech, I guess, the week before, so
I think,
who
actually,
knows?
Wyoming is quite a bit better than Boston College. Like on a neutral field, all things equal.
Yeah, maybe.
So maybe that's what they're thinking then.
Maybe. Yeah. Either way, though, Texas is 3 going into the week, so congrats to you guys.
Yeah. Enjoy it while it lasts.
Exactly. Western Kentucky, Ohio State. We told you guys not to bet this. This was a 30-something spread or whatever the fuck it was. Ohio State actually showed up and played in this game. Now, I wouldn't get your hopes up that high, Ohio State fans. The play calling for Ryan Day in this fucking offense, like, I'm going to say this live on air because I fucking figured it out, and I'm assuming the coaches for Notre Dame will figure this out looking at the game tape. Whenever McCord yells out an S at the end of any of these fucking calls, it's a stretch play. So if he says fucking 68 Sam, fucking Omaha, Skittles, whatever it is, it's a stretch play to the inside or outside with the running back. Stop calling that. I know what that fucking play is at home, dude, and I'm not on the goddamn field here. Improve that or change it before you go into the Notre Dame game, or send somebody this fucking clip, dude. Do whatever you want, but change it going into Notre Dame. Kyle McCord finally looked like a quarterback here, but it's also Western Kentucky, so who fucking knows? The only thing that I was amped to see about in this game was Western Kentucky throws 900 times a game. Defense for Ohio State was pretty fucking good in this, and they pulled the starters after 3 quarters. This was 63-10. The reason why we're talking about it is Anthony and I are going to this game next week, so it's Ohio State, Notre Dame. That's the big one there, and we'll get to that in a second. Penn State, 30-13. Watch this game. Pretty fucking easy for these guys. Not really that big of a challenge there. We had Penn State in this one.
Yeah, 13.5. It was pretty easy to call, but it was a sloppy game. Like, this isn't the kind of game you want to see played against a clearly worse opponent. You don't want to have 7 fucking penalties against Illinois, because they're not. How much pressure are they really putting on you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but as far as what I said at the top of the season, that Penn State's got the best defense in the Big Ten, I stand by that. They had 5 more takeaways in this game. Those guys are fucking ruthless. The defense, no matter what, will keep Penn State in every single game. Alar didn't look that great in this one, but he has looked great the rest of the season. You give it a pass. Illinois is kind of weird. It's occasionally to play there. I know Ohio State's had a couple tough games in the past there. Washington against Michigan State called this one. Biggest shocker, though, not Penix going for 473 and 4 touchdowns. I heard they're going to fire Mel Tucker after this, so he's going to be out of there.
Why was he mean to students?
What was the scandal there?
I guess not really. He was more mean on the phone.
Yeah.
To a woman who was a rape advocate. He jacked off on the phone.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's gone, by the way.
How does she
He
know?
is fired. So they did fire him?
How does she know? How do they know?
Well, I think he admitted to it, but said it was consensual.
Lie, deny, counter accuse.
Yes. Why would you tell somebody you're going to jack off on the phone with them? You're on the phone, unless you're on FaceTime. No one would know.
Never admit to or volunteer for anything.
I'm pretty sure there was text, too.
Why text it? Like you could jack off on the phone to anybody if you wanted to. Why even say anything about it? Just going about your day.
Well,
it's your own fun secret.
AJ Gamble's confused about why she was advocating for rape in the first place.
You won today, AJ.
Doesn't even make any sense.
Nah, it sure doesn't. Now, next up is Notre Dame, Central Michigan.
Blah, blah, blah.
40,
Hartman looked good.
41-17. Hartman always looks good. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. He's going to go first round in the draft. What position? Who knows? I would certainly love to have him on the Falcons, though. I believe in Hartman. He's a very great quarterback. Notre Dame's got a great running back. It's going to be a tough game next week. Homeboy had 20 carries for 176 in this one. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting, tight game next week. Notre Dame at Ohio State in that primetime game.
I mean, Hartman's got 13 touchdowns and no interceptions now.
He's great. He's as advertised. I begged for him in the offseason, and we're seeing why.
Which is, they played they played Navy and Tennessee State and North Carolina State, NC State, and then this fucking travesty here, Central Michigan. So it's not like they played anybody.
No, and they will this week.
But we've seen, this happens with Notre Dame's schedule all the time. They'll have, usually it's not Navy or something. It's a good team to start out the year, and they'll play them or whatever. Then they'll have some shitty games, but they don't ever put up passing numbers like this. So this is definitely new.
Well, and he was a portal kid. To go back to your point about Saban, dude, this is the guy that I fucking wanted, and Notre Dame backed up the truck and got him. Man, I just wish he was throwing to Harrison and Ibuka all day. Dude, you'd go number 1 in the draft. What the fuck, bro? Next up, Alabama, South Florida. God damn, dude. I agree with you. This could be Saban's last ride. Do you think he goes out, though, with this team?
I think he's going to experience some health problems and then have to retire like a politician. He's going to go focus on his family or whatever. Give him the graceful exit that he deserves. I mean, you would it's not like a player where you want to give him a farewell tour. I don't think that, because Saban's a maniac. He wants to win all the time. He doesn't want a farewell tour. He just wants to get the fuck out, I would imagine.
I never in my life would think that he would put in the third-string quarterback in a game and give him a shot during a game. Now, the day after, he announced Milroe was going to start the rest of the year, and that's fine. He's not good enough, though, I think they might lose this weekend to Ole Miss. We'll get to that. But he's down bad. I don't know what to say. They've got a great running back. They don't really have any receivers. They don't have a quarterback there. It's odd. It's very strange to see out of a Nick Saban team. They fell again down to 13 this week. I'm not sure what happens here anymore. He didn't look interested in that goddamn Texas game towards the end, so I don't know. Next up, Tennessee, Florida. Yeesh. See you later. I thought it was just hatred from Delco about Josh Heupel. Turns out this very well could be a real thing in this world, man. Boy. They got fucking trounced in this.
We've been trying to tell you for years that Josh Heupel's a shitty coach.
Well, here's the thing. I don't follow these teams that are typically outside the top 25 like this. What I do know is this. I was at the Hendon Hooker game last year, and they looked great last year. This Florida game, though, was just an abomination. This wasn't even as close as the final score indicated. It was fucking 26-7 at halftime. in this. And I mean, people were fucking celebrating and shit in the stands. So, yeah, man, it's bizarre. That ATN kid, is he the brother of Travis?
Yeah.
He is. Okay.
Yeah, he's
172 yards rushing in this game.
Little short guy, but
He ran it up.
I feel like I think he's gonna be a pretty good third down back in the NFL at some point. Like he's about 210 right now. I think he's probably, by the time he's a sophomore, by the time he's in the NFL, he's probably gonna be 225, 230, something like that. He's gonna be a little bruiser. He's quick as shit, but he's got the body to put on some weight.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be. Keep an eye on that guy.
For sure. Next up, Weber State, Utah. Nothing to talk about here, except for that Cam Rising didn't start again, which is weird to me.
Well, they're not going to waste him on Weber State.
No, but he's got to come back eventually. And he's
Well, they play UCLA.
I know, that's
this
what I'm
week,
saying. So if he's coming back now. Otherwise, it's going to be too late for this team. I mean, they are 3-0, but it's not been pretty there.
No, Pac-12 is pretty competitive. They got to get back. They can't afford to be losing conference games if they're going to make a run at the fucking.
They have the best offenses out of any Power 5 there is right now. Still no defense in the Pac-12, but their offenses are fucking loaded here. Speaking of which, Oregon ran Hawaii out of the fucking stadium. No shock there. Had that one. LSU, Mississippi State. We picked that one. Had LSU in this one. I don't know. I read a lot of people who were taking Mississippi State in this one. I didn't get it. I certainly didn't bet it. And then here we are. Now I did lose money on Kansas State. This next one versus Missouri.
Yeah, same.
Bob, you watched this game. I did not. I think I texted you when I saw the highlights afterwards. And by the way, I try to be honest with the audience of what I watched and didn't watch, so that way I'm not speaking out of school here. What happened in this game, and was this as close as it should have been? Did somebody get injured? Was there an injured quarterback?
Actually, both quarterbacks
were hurt.
Okay.
Both quarterbacks got hurt.
They both played, though, and were limping the entire time.
For the entire second half.
It was just going back and forth. It was a good game.
It was just a good game. Missouri's not as bad as people thought they were going to be, I guess. I didn't really know what they would be. I knew they'd have a good defense. It was really the offense was going to be the question.
Yeah, because you were hard last week on last week's show on the offensive coordinator here, but I'm looking at the stats. Mizzou's quarterback had 356 and 2 touchdowns.
Brady Cook fucking slang it. So there's some good parts of the offense. Our wide receivers, our number 1 and number 2 wide receivers were 5 stars. Luther Burden was number 1 in the class 2 years ago, like the number 1 overall receiver.
Sophomore.
Yeah,
He's a stud.
He was insane. Had two touchdowns, 114 yards. I mean, it's a old rival. It was a huge rivalry game, sellout, like all that shit, you know.
Yeah.
And so it was a tight game.
I saw they stormed the field on Twitter. I saw a video later on.
So
Well, what had happened was Drink decided to spike the ball because they don't have any timeouts left to set up the game-winning field goal. However,
a 56-yard game-winning field goal.
56-yard field goal. However, he treats it like a timeout, so they
Forgets there's a play clock.
Oh, Jesus
takes a delay
Christ.
game penalty, still runs out the kicker, and of course our little chubby kicker.
Fat kickers, dude,
fat
rule the
kicker.
world.
The thicker kicker, Harrison Memis.
Yeah, remember that dick from Penn State? 5 or 7 years ago?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Something like that.
Yeah.
He kept crushing people in the kickoff, and then somebody fucking lit his ass up.
99, I think his number was.
Yeah.
Jano was the best to ever do it.
Who, Janikowski?
Yeah, I love Janikowski.
Do you remember when Janikowski got arrested for
GHB?
having date rape drug, GHB? And people are like, oh, he's a fucking rapist like that. I just want to be clear about this. I used GHB recreationally for years.
I did
Gets
too
you
at the
high
time.
as shit. It's awesome.
I did too at the time, yeah.
He was taking it himself.
He was taking it himself. He was not giving that to girls.
He definitely didn't need to rape anybody.
No. And he went, people forget he went 16 in the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is he
the
the only
Raiders.
first-round kicker ever?
Maybe.
No,
Ever.
no.
Who?
I believe the Buccaneers took a
Ray Guy?
Aguayo in the first round.
Oh, I think you might be right,
I could
actually.
be wrong,
Yeah.
but-
The Buccaneers are a loser organization, so that makes
So are the
sense.
Raiders. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So he drills the 61-yarder, and then the fans storm the field.
I was saying this. I said this on Twitter. I don't think they would have stormed the field had Mizzou just like won this game normally. But like the swing of emotion over that like 1 minute 30 seconds to the point where it's like, oh my God, we might have to fire our coach tonight. That is one of the worst. I can't stress this enough. That is one of the worst mistakes I've seen in any game in any sport a coach make.
Also, Aguayo was a second rounder, but still pretty high.
Okay. And then just to confirm for the audience, you were sober during this game?
Yeah, it was an 11 a.m. game.
Oh, shit. Fuck.
So
okay.
yeah.
I was at Urban Air with the kids after. No, they had jiu-jitsu in the morning and then Urban Air afterwards.
What's Urban Air? Is it like?
You
Well,
get to fly around and climb rock, like rock walls and all that other stuff. So I was with the children. They did have college football on in there, and they serve beers, which is great for parents. But they choose the games, not us. And that one wasn't one of the games that was on. So did Missouri make the top 25?
We're ranked 27th now.
So you got to cover them.
Just missed. It's all right. If we beat Memphis, we should be in. The more egregious thing,
kind
though,
of fucked up the Kansas State one from 15 to not ranked because they lost on a 61-yard field goal.
I can't believe they dropped K-State out of the rankings for losing like kind of a rivalry game on the road to an SEC team. Again, on a historic last-second field goal. That is the longest field goal in SEC history.
I agree, and the spread was low. It was 3
5 points.
Oh yeah, because I dropped to 3.5. So I lost this game. This was one of the bets that I lost in college that day, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh shit! And then I watched the highlight later, and I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. So yeah, congrats to Missouri, and that's a big win. Look, I never believed in K-State anyway, so it didn't really matter. But I did think they would win this game. Next up, Oregon State beat San Diego State. Snooze. Who cares? They're 3-0, and we do want to see them win the national title. But
who's we?
well, they're the Pac-2, right? This is part of the Pac-2.
It's Oregon State and Washington State. Yeah,
They play each other this week.
they're two of the original Pac-10 teams.
There
Too.
are only 2 left if they win the national championship.
I guess back then it was Pac-6, I think, because I think it was 1915 or 1918 when they formed. But those are two of the original teams. They're the only ones left. I'm sure they're going to go somewhere.
Well, so here's the ongoing joke for the audience.
Like,
here.
there's no way that Oregon State finishes the season ranked and doesn't move to and just goes to independent, right? There's no way.
Right, but when we started the season in the Way Too Early prediction show, I think it was Delco who said we got to win the whole fucking thing, like Major League. It is possible. But hear me out. Hear me out on this one. I don't think Oregon State is a terrible team, but hear me out on this. Is it mathematically possible? Yes.
What do you mean terrible team? Yeah, they run the table. They go undefeated. They're going to get in the playoffs.
Right. Because of they have the best offenses in the Pac-12 if they do it. However, this team does not have the offense to compete with a Penix or a fucking Bo Nix.
Ukulele against San Diego State. Dude, he had fucking a touchdown. I mean, he also had 2 picks.
They run the ball.
Fuck out of here.
They run the ball. They control the clock.
God,
they could beat USC. They could beat Washington. They could beat Oregon.
They had 100 yards rushing, dude, out of their best back. This is you can live on that island.
Out of one back, right?
I would bet your entire paycheck then on Oregon State. And that'll prove to me that you really believe it.
I'm saying the Pac-12 is the best conference in football. So if they ran the table, yeah, theoretically they would get in the fucking.
That's what I just said. Mathematically, yes, they would get in. Are they going to? No, they're not.
They don't stink.
They're not good enough.
Top 20 team in the country. How's that bad?
I feel
anything past 10, you're like, eh.
Not really.
I feel like against San Diego State, if you're 14 for 30 and have a touchdown and 2 picks, that's a problem.
14 for 30.
I feel like that's not good.
State. No.
For a guy who also had 3 rushes for 17 yards, which is, not bad for 3 rushes, but their premier offensive player doesn't put up offensive stats. So it doesn't seem likely.
14 for 30.
I don't know how we're talking about Oregon State like that, but then Florida State, it's like, sometimes you have those weeks against Boston College, who was like demonstrably worse.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah, but Oregon
Bob,
State won.
I don't think Florida State's going to win either, bro.
Oh, no.
I'll say that.
Oregon State also won.
I don't think Florida State's going to win the national championship either.
I don't think.
Florida State is going to win.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
They sure aren't.
Georgia's going to win, probably.
Georgia's got they're a 1 seed right now, and it's not going to change the rest of the year.
They're not as good as they have in the last 2 years, but who's better?
Don't know.
It's
I'm with you.
I still think LSU could make a run back. They're looking a lot better, but that's a long run, and they have to
win it all.
They have to beat Alabama.
They got to win out. Correct.
One lost SEC team who wins the championship is going to make it.
I agree.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I agree.
Well, I mean, they may even make it with 2 losses if they beat Alabama and then lose to Georgia, depending on how shit goes in the Big Ten. Right?
Yeah.
And the Pac-12. The
Yeah.
Pac-12 is going to beat each other up, too.
Yes.
Pac-12 will be the problem because
There's going to be a lot of teams in the Pac-12 with 2 losses, and that's going to be the issue.
But I do think there's just as good a chance that 2 Pac-12 teams make it as 2 SEC teams.
And that's how, but here's the thing. This is why this Georgia schedule should matter to every Pac-12 fan, if there is any left, is because they're not going to have a loss. They don't play anyone the entire season. And then you have this gauntlet.
They're going to lose.
You think Georgia will lose in the regular season?
I think they're going to lose in the regular season, probably to like Kentucky or
their offense is susceptible. Their offense is
they're not that good. The defense isn't that good this year either.
I'm with you. I just don't think Kentucky is good enough, or Tennessee. I think Tennessee is the other opponent they play. Tennessee got trounced by Florida.
Yeah, but Tennessee was better last year, so was Georgia, but Tennessee gave them a run last year. Tennessee could beat them.
And Tennessee's on the road.
It is. And look, I love partying there. It is a tough
We should
place
actually
to play.
probably go to that game.
It depends on when it is.
It's November 18th, the Sunday before Thanksgiving. And honestly,
I think we should probably go to that game.
you can't fucking overlook a road game at Auburn. That is a rivalry game, and Auburn.
Hey,
looking
you
that
know
bad.
my love for Hugh Freeze. I'm all in. I think Auburn picks off 2 of these motherfuckers. I don't know who, but I think Hugh Freeze will certainly fucking do it. For sure. I agree with you. I'm in. But Georgia winning out, I just don't see them losing. Too much. No, I don't see them losing.
Maybe.
I can't entertain it. But next up, Georgia, Ole Miss.
Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech, Ole Miss. Ole Miss crushed them. Same as always, we called that. That's fine. Colorado State lost all the money on that. Talked about that at the top of the show. Oklahoma. Jesus Christ, man. They're putting up fucking points this year. Granted, these teams are dog shit, but this now makes this Oklahoma-Texas game very, very fun, that Red River shootout. Because they're fucking slanging the dick around, dude. Gabriel had fucking 421 and 5 touchdowns in this game.
Yeah.
All right. North Carolina, Minnesota. Got this one right. And this was for our little Boston nurse we bet this for Allie Ray.
Yeah. I think Minnesota's not bad, though. Like,
They're not bad at all.
I'm surprised at how good Minnesota is.
They're always a gritty, dirty little team like this, dude, but they still lost.
Well, their running back is pretty fucking good.
And if to the Minnesota alumni, whoever shut down Allie Ray's account, open it back up. That's why you lost, you fucks. Next up, Duke Northwestern called this fine. Move on with your lives, 38-14. Washington State was up next against Northern Colorado. No spread, because I'm unaware that Northern Colorado is a college team. Is it high school or college? I don't know.
It's both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. UCLA versus whoever the fuck they play, North Carolina Central Chippewas or whatever that was, 59-7. No spread on that. Iowa putting on the points, dude. They needed it.
Yeah.
They needed it. And they only had 14 at halftime. And I was like, oh, shit, maybe this guy's going to get fired. Then they poured it on in the second half. This helps. They put up 41. This guy's trying to save his job. So good for him.
So right now,
what's the average? What do they have to average?
he's at 28.3. They got to average 25, right?
Uh-huh.
Or 24? Is it 24?
They used to have to average 25. What are they
Yes.
down to now that they scored 41?
It's 25. Well, no, he still has to average 25 for the season. Right now, they're averaging 28.3.
Okay.
But they've got Penn State coming up next week.
That's not going to happen.
So that's going to be a goose egg, probably, right? They'll probably score 10 against them. So they're going to have to blow out.
7. I'll give them 7.
They play Michigan State, Purdue, so those are easy. But then they play Wisconsin and Minnesota. Those are both good teams. Northwestern sucks. Rutgers sucks. Illinois sucks. At Nebraska, that sucks.
It's going to be close.
They've got a chance.
They got
But
a chance.
they've got to put some points on the board against Penn State and Wisconsin and Minnesota, which all 3 of those teams have pretty good defenses.
I would not.
Yeah.
I don't have high hopes they're going to score a lot on Illinois either, to be honest.
Also,
That's possible. Well, it's
Rutgers
at
football.
home, luckily. What'd you say?
Undefeated Rutgers football.
Oh, God.
We're not doing that.
No, we're not doing this
Shiana,
show.
man.
Your show, not this one, friend. As always, we're brought to you by MyBookie.com. Promo code Drinkin' Bros doubles your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. All the spreads we're about to read for the Week 4 predictions here are from MyBookie.com. I've done very, very well the last couple days with those guys. And in the meantime, I do want to shout them out for giving out the best parlays and teasers and all that stuff in the biz. That's the only site I've ever seen. People have been asking about it. Giving out 10 and 13-point teasers and shit. I don't know any other site that does it. It's fun, and it only pops up on certain games. You just got to type in the games and see if they'll allow it. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they will. And that's the beauty of it. They're always doing cool shit like this. The prop bets, usually there's about 250 on every single NFL game. So you can bet on all your fantasy football players. You can bet on your favorite college players, whoever it is. They will have a number for it and an over-under on yards, down to like a third-string fucking wide receiver. It's rad. I really enjoy their sites a lot, and as you can tell, because I'm so excited that I almost stroked out there. They got everything there, and it makes all these games more entertaining to watch and bet on. And I really do think this is helping out with the ratings and all this shit. By the way, everybody's still betting on Colorado this week. I don't know how, but we'll get to that in a second. So go to mybookie.com, use the promo code DrinkinBros to double that first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Next up, if you want to go to any of these games, go to drinkinbrostickets.com. College, NFL, concerts, rodeos, all that other stuff, it's there. D'Anthony and I are doing a live show from Notre Dame this weekend. We will be at the Notre Dame-Ohio State game. I know that ticket is pricey, okay? Look, Notre Dame hasn't had a game this big there in how many years now at this point? So, like, I understand it. They're undefeated. Everybody's got high hopes for Hartman and this offense, and you should. These tickets are crazy expensive. I understand if you can't afford to go to this game. This is a fucking gnarly one, dude, including the Cubs game. We got tickets to the Cubs, man. Cubs are fighting for the playoffs. We will be there. We'll be, I forget our section. We're right behind the Cubs dugout.
69.
Is it?
I don't know.
It'd be great if it was. We're right behind the Cubs dugout. So if you're at the Cubs game on Friday, we'll be at the 1:20 p.m. game against the Colorado Rockies. We're texting back and forth with you last night. I was surprised it was sold out, but they are fighting for the last seed in the playoffs. So a Friday afternoon game, man, at Wrigley is sold out. But tickets are still available on drinkinbrostickets.com. However, I think the max is like 2 tickets now. They're just for this game because it's sold out. You can't get like 10 together, unfortunately. All right, let's get to this week's spreads, shall we? Rutgers versus Michigan. This is Michigan minus 24. I believe Harbaugh is back this week, right? It's just a 3-game self-imposed suspension?
Yeah, I believe so.
So he's back. Rutgers is undefeated. Do you believe in that at all?
No.
Me neither.
No.
Me neither.
No, at Michigan, this is a statement game for them. I'll take Michigan 24. I mean,
Harbaugh's back.
When I say statement game, yeah, they want to show out for Coach. I think he's pretty well liked by his team still.
And the fans, man. The fans love him up there. And rightfully so. Look, they won 2 in a row against Ohio State. I understand it. Like, even this. Tickets are $67 now. I hate to always go back to the ticket prices, but it just shows interest in the game. Typically, you wouldn't go to see fucking Rutgers play. So the fact that the last section in the stadium is $67 against Rutgers clearly means that everybody wants to see Harbaugh back. I think they run up the score in this one, and I think you're fine betting it. Do I bet it in real life? Not sure. Check back in on Saturday on Facebook over there, only because there is so many fucking great games this Saturday to bet on. 24, I don't know. We'll see. What's the motivation to win by 60? And this is what you got to ask yourself, and especially keeping the 2 best running backs in the nation healthy. At a certain point, you just stopped. It appears as if that's what they've done the first 3 games. So,
yeah, kind of. But I think they need to, like, J.J. McCarthy is out of sync. He's throwing a lot of stupid passes. I think
he's had 3 picks this year.
This is a tune-up game. Like, he needs to get his shit together before they start playing real talent.
Yep.
Because they're going to get they play like if he plays loose like that against Penn State, they're going to fucking lose.
I know that defense is nasty. Is that the whiteout game this year?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Next up, we got Florida State against Clemson. Look at this, dude. Look at this. This is the fucking noon game. That's how great the schedule is this week. This is your fucking noon game. This is FSU minus 2.5. Who you got?
Oh boy, man, I don't know. I'm not. Clemson's defense has actually been pretty good. I think they're in the top 10 in yards allowed this year so far. Not that they've played any huge games or anything, but they haven't looked good on offense, but the defense has looked pretty good. I think Florida State's got more to win here, right?
Yep.
Like this is a big game for them. Clemson's just trying to get back into the fucking top 20. They're just trying to become relevant again.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what this game's going to look like, though, to be honest. Like, the question is Florida State as good as we've seen? They had a hiccup last week, or is Clemson as bad as we've seen? I don't know the answer to that, so I'm not sure I'm going to bet this game. I think it's a little too close for my taste.
I am all in on Florida State in this game. This will be one of the biggest bets that I make of the weekend. I think that Boston College thing was probably a good thing. They got scared but didn't lose. They're still number 4 in the nation. Clemson doesn't have the offense. I agree with you on the defense. They've got a decent defense. However, where is your offense going to come from?
Yeah.
Klubnik has been meh this entire year.
He's been mid, but if they can get Shipley moving downfield, they can control the tempo of the game, and Florida State's going to be, and it's at Death Valley too. They're going to, but it's 71 degrees and raining. So
But I think it's close, and I think the spread for me personally, if this was 3. I would have bought down a half a point, the same as I did in last night's Saints game, and that ended up coming to fruition. They won by 3, and I told you, buy it down a half a point. This is already there for me. So I bet this right now, as soon as this show is over. I believe Florida State has too much firepower, and they pull away from them in the second half. I'm all in on Florida State, and this is going to be one of my biggest bets of the weekend here.
I'm kind of inclined to take Clemson in the points, to be honest.
Really?
I just think it's going to be rainy. It's going to be a dirty, nasty game, and that plays more towards Clemson strings, but I'm not going to bet this.
Well, you're a South Carolina boy. You know this better than I do, but
I don't know.
I am.
I don't know anything more than anybody else about Clemson's football team.
Well, about the weather down there.
Oh yeah. It's like.
Is it humid?
It's humid as fuck, and it's nasty. And this is the kind of game that a team with a good defense and run game can win against a high-powered offense. So we'll see, right? I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm not going to bet it, because I think there's too many fucking variables here.
I am. I'm all in on Florida State, and this is going to be a high number, probably $300 or $400 out of me. And again, go to Drinkin Bros Sports. You'll see all the bets the night before, dude. It's like the night before Christmas every week. I love it. I'm going heavy on Florida State this week. Very, very heavy. Next up, we got Oklahoma at Cincinnati. This is Oklahoma minus 14.5 here. Who you got?
I got to ask the guys about this. What's Cincinnati like this year?
How's the new coach?
Down.
Yeah, they look down.
I mean, it's inevitable. They did beat Pitt on the road, which was pretty huge. But a loss to Miami, Ohio last weekend, not great.
Not great.
Yeah.
Not great.
Red Hawks, baby.
Yeah. And Oklahoma's been putting up a lot of fucking points this year, man. So I'm inclined to bet Oklahoma. Oklahoma's put up a lot of points this year. First game, 73-0.
I mean, they had a hiccup game against SMU.
Yeah, 28-11, but SMU was decent enough. And then 66-17 here. I think they lay it on Cincinnati. Over-under's at 60.5 in this game,
I'd stay away from the over-under.
I'm not touching
it. I think this under could hit, to be honest.
Yeah.
So since Oklahoma's played 2 shit teams, and this will be their second competent team, they didn't score a lot on SMU, and SMU does not have a good defense. I know, Dan, I think you were saying they just weren't finishing drives or something like that. But, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Look, Oklahoma scored a lot. This will be in a teaser for sure for me. And I've got Oklahoma in this. I'm going to take Oklahoma and ride out. This next one, shit, I got a lot of fucking money on this goddamn game too, man. A lot. And this I've already pre-bet. Full disclosure, man. As soon as this came out, I fucking hammered it. This is Colorado at Oregon. This is the 2:30 game. So if you're just going off of the first 4 games we were talking about, dude, you got Florida State, Clemson. As soon as that ends, boom, you got to hop right into Colorado at Oregon. Oregon minus 21 points in this game. Who you got, Anthony?
Yeah, I'll take Oregon. I mean, the best player on the field that's not a quarterback is not going to be on the field for Colorado, right? On both sides of the ball.
He's the best defense and offense.
Yeah, so
next to the quarterback, Sanders.
This to me is a statement game. This is Oregon's opportunity to quash that nonsense, piggyback on the hype from Colorado a little bit, and establish dominance over the rest of the Pac-12, which is the best conference in football right now.
And at number 10 here, if you smack the shit out of Colorado and end the hype, you could really vault up. I mean, we saw Texas vault ahead to number 3 over FSU, which I think was unwarranted. You could really fucking vault up then. The only thing I'm going to do in this game, I'm betting a shit ton of money on this game as well, is just buy a half a point there, just in case it is 3 scores. So it'll be 20.5 instead of 21. And I am all in on Colorado. I think the loss of that kid, too, in that locker room will be too much to overcome. They also haven't played together at a fucking stadium that goes bug fuck like that. Like, Oregon fans will be going nuts. Tickets are really fucking expensive for this game.
They opened the year at TCU, if I recall.
And I said that wasn't a real school, and you guys disagreed.
I mean, they were literally in the finals last year.
In the national
What
championship.
happened in that game?
What happened was the score?
They still beat Michigan to get there.
Okay, Michigan lost. Everybody was dead on that team.
They didn't have a quarterback or running back.
They didn't have anything.
Matter. Like,
Beat
it's a
Michigan
real
in the
school.
Final
It does
Four,
matter.
like-
does matter.
It does
They're-
matter.
They don't
They're
travel.
real
They don't have an alumni. They have
They didn't
four.
have to travel. It was in Fort Worth.
They have 4 people that go to school there, dude. It's just not a real
It
fucking
was a literal
school.
sellout at a huge Power 5 stadium.
Yep, it's just so many dumb things said.
No, it's not, dude. You guys live in a world of these shit teams, dude. I'm not going to give you the shit team. I'm not. You saw what happened in the championship. Shouldn't have fucking been there.
They made it farther than Ohio State did.
Oh, they sure did.
Sure did.
They sure did,
and they
Bob.
actually beat Michigan. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Actually, there's by no metric by which Ohio State was better than TCU last year. No metric.
Let's just
What do you
compare the
want?
Georgia game. How do they do against Georgia, Bob?
Still
How they do
lost.
against Michigan?
How did you do against Michigan?
We lost, though. But Michigan was healthy. They had a good team. They've got a great team this year. They could win the championship this year.
Sounds like
Where is
excuses.
TCU?
Excuses.
Where is TCU?
Excuses.
They're gonna be fine.
They're not fine.
What-
They're not ranked in the top 60.
When you
they are.
say they're going to be fine, what does that mean?
What do you mean they're not ranked
Like
in the top 60? Yes, they're ranked in the top
The-
60.
What number? Find what number TCU is right now.
You can't. They're probably receiving votes. but
They're in
gonna-
a fucking witness protection program right now. God damn it, man.
Yes.
It was 65-7 in the championship. What the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah, they got there.
They got
They got
which
there.
Ohio State didn't.
I'm not seeing TCU receiving votes here. Just for conversation's sake.
Jesus
Obviously.
Christ. I mean, it's just insane, dude.
How's it insane?
Colorado's
You have just
already
the
had
worst-
a-
They don't have the alumni. They don't have anything there. They have nothing there that they will ever win a title ever. Like, it's just not going to happen. Maybe Deion will go there. I don't know.
They had a pretty good IT department,
Yeah, they did.
for real.
They did. No, I know.
Really good one.
They have a really good IT department.
So, keep that in mind.
Yeah, they didn't receive 1 vote for any form of college football voting for anything.
We'll see at the end of the year.
What do you guys think is going to happen in this Colorado-Oregon
I
game?
think Colorado covers. I don't like 21. You really gonna bet against this fucking team again?
I sure am.
Well, I mean, it's like
I sure am.
would I have bet against Michigan, TCU, but no, but with both of their running backs and their quarterback fucked up, then maybe, I don't know.
Michigan didn't even lose that game really because those guys were out. It was bad coaching. I mean, they should have won that game. Coaching is what really fucked up.
The 2 best running backs
And
in
the
the country
nation.
were out, dude.
The both.
Like
best-
I understand. I agree with you that the
How much
coaching
more
was
offense
also
were they gonna
bad.
get? They scored 50 fucking points.
Their
How much more
entire
again?
offense.
It's not just about
was
the offense.
based off of their running game.
Yeah.
That is their entire offense.
It's not.
every
It's not
year.
just about the offense when you're run based. It's about controlling the clock and grinding the game
I
out.
think-
You know what I mean?
If anything, it spoke more to JJ McCarthy being able to throw 50 points on. Like,
McCarthy's
that's
great.
crazy.
McCarthy's a great quarterback.
Yeah.
I agree. I think Colorado
That's-
covers, and I would.
He's not great. He's not a great quarterback.
Well, against TCU, he was.
He's
Yeah.
a great college quarterback.
He's fine.
He's good to have on your
Look,
team.
now you guys are even arguing amongst
I
yourselves.
know, dude.
Can-
You guys can't even agree.
We're talking
The
about
2 of you guys can't even agree.
We're talking about 2 different things.
Way different things, and just have a little nuance, man. Just talk about like you watch it. Like TCU is a perfectly fine program. They came off. They lost a shit ton of players to the NFL. Like they're fine.
They're a good school.
What's fine about them? Look, I can go. I can tell you the last time they played Ohio State, I was at that game. They had 4 people in the stadium. 4. It was at Jerry World. Dan and I were there. We were right there. We were on the field for that game. And they got fucking destroyed. And they had 4 people in the fucking game. It's not a big school. I'm sorry.
They put
Wait,
up
no one's-
560 yards of total offense last week.
No one's
pretty good.
arguing.
Who do they play?
About their enrollment?
Houston.
Yeah, I mean,
Houston's
Kendall
a
Browse
terrible
is calling
school
the
this game.
plays. Sonny Dykes is a good coach. Like they're gonna be fine.
TCU.
You think they'll end up ranked at the end of the season?
They could beat Texas.
Very well. Yeah, they very well could. They'll still be fine. Sonny Dykes is a really good coach. Also, I don't know what you're talking. You can rip on their enrollment or whatever. They have 2,000 more people than Notre Dame does.
Yeah.
It's
In
not that.
school.
It's not that. It's the boosters, the money you're willing to spend.
Money ain't a problem at TCU.
It really isn't. Especially SMU, TCU. Go to Dallas. They got the money.
Okay. I can't. Look. Win something ever? I don't know. Be ranked. Just be ranked. They're not even ranked.
Has Ohio State won in this last decade?
Fuck. When they win 2014.
Yeah.
So one. How many they been to? Fucking 90. Like. If Harrison doesn't get knocked out, do you really think Georgia was a better team than Ohio State last year?
Yes. Because they won, and then they won the national championship.
They knocked out the best player. All 6 running backs were out. And then the first NFL wide receiver taken in the draft, Jackson Smith and Jigma, didn't even play.
He didn't play all year.
Yeah.
Because he sat out. He wanted to sit out to go to the NFL to make the exact same money he did in NIL.
I don't understand how that's Georgia's problem.
Yeah.
It isn't. But if he plays, they win by fucking 60 points.
Dude, okay, but he
not
didn't.
true.
They had 41 going into the fourth quarter. They were up by 2 touchdowns going into the fourth.
It's just so dumb.
Dude, Georgia was better. They're back-to-back national champions. There's no world that exists in which Ohio State was better than Georgia. And the best way to figure it out, I guess, is to have them play each other, which they fucking did.
Sure, go to Twitter and find out. Look, everybody thought Ohio State was the best team last year. The year before, I thought it was Alabama. The irony is, the year Georgia should have won was the year that they put in Tua at halftime. And Tua had 2 touchdowns in that game that he wasn't even throwing to the correct receiver in.
Nobody, no matter how good you are, wins a championship without shit breaking their way.
I guess.
That's definitely true.
It's definitely true. And Georgia got the luckiest the last 2 years. And this year, they're even luckier with the fucking schedule they're playing. So, look, God is shining down on them. And why it's not at Notre Dame, no idea.
Yeah, you got to wonder what's going on at TCU. Are they not on the Hallow app?
Yeah, dude. Are they not staying prayed up?
Because
that's a Christian university. Why isn't God helping them?
To me, I think Kirby's probably a deist, if anything, right? He's definitely not like a fucking Bible thumper. So, and he's been wiping the fucking mat with Dabo the last couple of years.
And at TCU, again, it stands for Texas Christian University. One would think God would want them ranked. I would blame God at this point.
Yeah. What's God got to say about this?
Why isn't God allowing this team to be ranked this year?
We're Catholic. We don't give a shit about TCU.
What are they, Baptists?
Are they
They're
Baptists?
Like a weird non-denominational situation.
Oh, boy. Are they snake handlers up there?
Oh, boy. Is that what you're calling them? A bunch of snake handlers?
Maybe that's the problem. They've got a bunch of dudes out because they were bitten by fucking cobras or something.
Yeah, dude.
Man.
You never fucking know up
Either
there.
way, Oregon's going to beat the Christ out of Colorado.
I agree, and I'm putting all the money on it.
If Hunter was playing, I think you would probably be right. And as a matter of fact, I think it would be a 1 or maybe 1 score or 2 10-point game. But
well, the wild thing is the spread was actually 14.5. Hunter goes out, and then boom, it's up to 21.
If Hunter had been playing, I would have taken Colorado with the points at 14.5, 100%. Because Deion schemes and motivates like nobody else in college football. But that's not what's happening here. Their best player on both sides of the ball is out. How do you expect them to fucking keep this game close?
I don't know, especially against a high-powered offense.
They have to be able to run the ball to keep this game close, to keep Oregon's offense off the field, right?
Yep. And I don't know who the running back is, do you?
Dave running back.
Is it Dave?
Yeah.
Is it good old Dave running back?
I'm not sure if that's his real last name, but no,
Me neither.
Dylan Edwards.
Yeah. But again, all in on Oregon, and I think they've got a lot to prove in this game, and I think they will. Next up, you got UCLA hopping back into the top 25. There we go. At 22, they're playing at Utah. This is Utah minus 4.5. Now, we don't know if Cam Rising's going to play this game.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything.
That to me is the entire game, and whether or not you bet on it or not. So I would definitely wait on this.
Yeah,
one.
you should probably wait. Is UCLA's defense pretty good again this year, like it was last year? I don't know the answer to that.
They're like
because they've only played like 3 shit teams so far.
They're a top 40 defense right now.
Yeah, I mean they played 3 bad teams, but the defenses look good in all of them. I just can't tell if that's going to translate to Utah is quite a bit better.
Coastal's
obviously,
not bad.
I would wait to see what the decision is on Cam Rising. Little surprised this is Utah minus 4.5 if he's out. Right?
So Cam Rising,
I mean, it's in Utah, right? That's a weird fucking place to play.
It is.
Spooky place to play.
Yeah.
Cam Rising and UCLA is really good, but Chip has been sort of on and off there. You know
Cam
what I mean?
Rising has been a full participant in practice all
Sweet.
week, but no contact.
There you go.
Yeah, but he has been for the last 2 weeks, and that's what gives me pause.
But I think they were saving him for this. They weren't going to bring him back at Weber State or whatever the fuck.
No,
they played
and
last year.
I agree you shouldn't, right?
Yeah. But UCLA is a good defense. This is just like everything is stacked against them. If Rising's coming back, maybe they're a little jittery or out of sync in the first quarter or something like that. Maybe even the first half. But Utah's got a great defense too. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
I'll take Utah 4.5.
I'm going to sit this out until they make a decision on the quarterback here because he makes a big difference. I'm not that impressed with the other kids who have been in, and that dude is. That's the dude. I want to wait to see if he plays. There's too many other games to bet a lot of money on, including this next one, which I'm going to bet on. But I think we're going the opposite way on this. Another great fucking game here. Ole Miss, number 15, at Alabama. This is Bama -7. They exhausted all their quarterbacks. They're going back to Milroe. Who you got?
I'll take Ole Miss +7.
I'm going to take Ole Miss as well. +7 here. I might buy a half a point just to take it up in case it is an overtime game because that wouldn't shock me either.
I think Saban is trying to ice skate uphill right now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's just I think it's coming to an end for him, which things end like this sometimes. It's fine. He's the best coach in college football history, and it's not even close. Right, so I don't mean for it to sound like I'm talking shit.
Me neither, man. It's just it happens, dude. It happens to everybody. Belichick looks checked out right now.
Jordan played for the Wizards. You remember that?
Yeah, dude. No, I don't want to remember it.
I'd probably, if I decide to put this in a teaser, I might buy half a point just so it doesn't bone me on a fucking push or something. But I think Ole Miss keeps this close.
And I think Lane finally gets his victory against Saban, and yeah.
I mean, this game really matters to Lane Kiffin.
Sure does. It sure does.
As a matter of fact, if they win this game, Alabama is a 2-loss team at that point with an in-conference loss.
And then they're out.
So they're done unless LSU fucking tanks, which maybe it happens. Who knows? But I don't think it will.
Delco, you wanted all the Alabama stock. Are you taking Bama then?
Yeah, it seems like a good bounce back spot. Everyone on the planet is going to be on Ole Miss.
Yeah.
This is typically a spot where you want to fade the public.
Do you think everybody's fading Ole Miss on this? I don't know. I feel like that's a hot take.
No, because you got Lane coming in, just former offensive
But it's in
coordinator.
Tuscaloosa. I mean, and Milrose looked like shit, though. That's the thing that you're probably right about. I think a lot of people just don't believe
Milroe
in
didn't
him.
get to play last week.
Not last week, but he hasn't looked good at any point when he's
just
played.
looked okay and kind of bad against Texas. That was it. Texas got a good defense. Who cares? Let them run.
Ole Miss is pretty loaded. It should be noted, by the way, that this is Ole Miss's like nightmare stretch of the schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a top 5 worst schedule and hardest schedule. They get Alabama. The next week, LSU comes to Oxford.
It's tough.
And then
They got Georgia on the
Georgia
schedule,
later.
too.
Yeah.
For their cross division.
Yep.
Yeah, that sucks.
Where is that at?
That's at Georgia.
Yeah.
Ole Miss is at Georgia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have LSU at home, though, right?
They do have LSU at home.
So at least one of them's at fucking home.
But going to
goddamn.
Tuscaloosa and Athens in the same season is a fucking nightmare.
3 weeks apart? Or is it, when's
It's
that?
a month apart, a month and a half apart.
Yeah, it's a tough one. There's probably 3 or 4 losses on Ole Miss.
Ole Miss got a really dynamic offense, though. I mean, they can move the ball down the field in a lot of different ways. And if you're Alabama and you can't run the ball, you can't control the clock, defense is still pretty good, right? But if the other team is scoring 28, 34 points, something like that, you're fucked.
Yep. Next up, you got Duke at UConn here. This is Duke -21.
How is there a spread on this?
I don't know.
Didn't UConn's in the process of decertifying down to a fucking...
I said they weren't. You guys said they were.
No,
What's the real answer?
They have been, and they were ineligible
They're
for
independent right now.
bowl games or whatever.
No, not that. But you guys said they were FCS, right?
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
saying they're
before-
Division One.
No, they are FBS, but before Mora got there, they were talking about just kind of fucking putting themselves in the FCS because they just weren't going to be able to get into a real football conference.
But now they're independent.
Okay, now they're independent. Gotcha.
They're 0-3 against NC State, Georgia State, and FIU.
And so, this spread is very curious to me. Like -21.5, and they're 0-3.
I thought people were
Duke
kind of
is
high
18.
on. I thought people were kind of high on Duke
I'm not high on Duke.
because
I don't touch this game.
Well, they beat Clemson by 21 points.
Yeah, but I don't think Clemson's very good, which is why I'm.
They're better than fucking UConn.
I mean, dude, Duke should not be beating Clemson by 21 points. Clemson is not that good, but they're not 21 points. Like anyone who beats Clemson by 21 points this year had a really fucking good
Well,
week.
everyone's jerking off about all these great quarterbacks in college football right now. I mean, Duke's got a pretty good quarterback in Riley Leonard.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
He's looked good for sure. Yeah.
I'm just not touching this game. There's something's off here. And again, there's a million games to bet on, so I'm staying away from this. Are you betting this game?
No.
No.
I mean, Duke, UConn. This would be a great basketball game.
That would be an awesome game.
Yeah, love to watch that.
Can't wait till that happens in the fall.
All the college basketball blue bloods right now in football, 3-0.
Yeah, it's true.
Kansas.
Wait, where's Gonzaga? Do they have a football team?
They don't.
Where are they at? Where are they at?
We need to start a Gonzaga football team.
Be great. Next up, we got Miami against Temple. This is at Temple, so watch out. Very difficult place to play. Kidding. I have no idea. Tickets are $20. Miami minus 23 in this game. This seems low as well. Fuck, man. I don't believe in Miami. I'm not going to touch this game.
Believe North Cutson?
Yep, I don't believe North Cutson in this team.
Yeah, Miami looks mid. They've got talent. That Van Dyke kid is good. He's got arm talent. He looks all right. They can run the ball a little bit, but
You guys don't have any belief in Miami?
Zero.
I do. I just think it hasn't really come together for him yet. So this might be a good opportunity to do that because Temple's not very good.
They rolled A&M.
I don't think A&M's
Yeah,
very
I don't
good
think
either,
I don't
man.
think A&M's got a lot of talent.
I think they'll
they're
probably
good.
fire Jimbo this
They
year.
also
to be
rolled
honest with
Miami
you.
of Ohio.
Oh, shit.
Whoa. Keep your rein slicker on, kids.
23 is just too much for this because I don't think they've really gelled yet. But this could potentially be a top 10 team towards the end of the season.
They haven't won a game by less than double digits.
Yeah.
I think they're doing all right.
They're doing just all right.
Just
though,
all right,
you know?
Bob. They still
like-
haven't gotten out of the top 20.
Well, we'll see. I'm
into
holding
it.
out. I think 23 points is too much for a team that I don't know. They just don't look like they've completely figured it out yet. But you can't deny how much talent's on the team.
You know what the hardest part to judge about this? Because usually going to all these games helps, right? And then seeing these guys where we get to sit and all that stuff, it really helps. Going to Miami and seeing a third of the stadium full at home, it's just, you wonder who cares. Where you're just like, who fucking cares?
Yeah, that sucks, man, because they do have a good team.
Well, they're going to feel right at home because it's going to be a fully empty pro stadium at Lincoln.
Oh, you don't think they're going to
Oh,
sell?
shit, this
you
is
don't-
at the Link?
You don't think Temple's going to sell out the Link?
Cosby's their best alumni, and he went through some problems. So I'm not sure if they bring him out, I would take Temple with the points. You know, but I can't now.
You mean Dr.
Bill Cosby?
Bill Cosby?
I sure do. That's Dr. Bill Cosby.
Bob Saget also went to Temple.
Did
but
he really?
He's dead.
R.I.P.
Adam McKay went there. Tom Sizemore also dead. Man, a lot of fucking Hollywood dudes
Who died?
died early.
Yeah.
From Bill Cosby's still alive, but he shouldn't be. You know.
Next up, you got UTSA at Tennessee. This is Tennessee minus 20.5 here.
Oh shit! Daryl Hall from Hall and Oates went to Temple.
Wow.
I'm a Temple fan now.
Damn, dude. I didn't know that.
She's a fucking rich girl, man.
Sure is, dude.
Anyways.
Look, Tennessee got housed last weekend. I'm going to stay away from them for a week.
Isn't you guys know they're 1-2, so maybe not this year, but UTSA is kind of a sneaky team some year, aren't they?
Yep.
They are. And
Supposedly, but they're the same roster, same
Yeah.
quarterback, same coaches.
Yeah, and they usually end up covering towards the end here. This is, again, another reason I just don't touch this game. Tennessee's coming off a bad loss. There's so many good games to bet on. I mean, I have a lot of money on this.
UTSA just got beat up by Army.
I will say this: if Army put up like
37?
yeah, I imagine. Okay, if you want to bet something on this game, take the Tennessee team over.
Plus, the troops always play dirty, so I bet UTSA's banged up.
Yeah, you can't say that about the troops.
Can't do it. Yeah.
Sorry,
bro.
They go for those chop blocks, go for the knees.
Oh shit!
Whatever.
Their quarterback actually had over 100 yards passing.
Yeah,
Army's
No way.
did. Yeah, for the first time ever.
Gross.
Dan out here simping for officers.
Oh no, I would never do that. They're all lost in the woods somewhere right now, probably trying to find their way home, just like that F-35.
Next up, we got Arkansas at LSU. This is LSU minus 17.5. I'll go back to some comments you made earlier about LSU. Last couple weeks, they look pretty fucking good. I bet the house on them last week, and they won. So,
Yeah. I'll take LSU at 17.5. I mean, it's that half is a fucking bitch, but we'll see. I'll bet this later in the week and see what it goes to.
yeah, I think this is a 3-score game, and I think you're fine with taking LSU in this one. And LSU might come back. The SEC is not This is a down year for the.
They lost the first game of the year to a top 4 team.
Yep, it's a down year in the SEC. They could come back, so we'll see.
This next one, this is the biggest game of the week.
Oregon
State
versus
Washington State. Yeah, it's the biggest game of the week.
I think
It is a top 25 matchup in the best conference in college football. 2 of the original Pac teams as well.
and the only 2 teams.
The only 2 left.
Only 2 left here. And I wish, was it you that pitched this or some listener who said they should play each other every single week?
Yeah.
And then just stay as the
That was me.
Pac-2?
Yeah.
That's great.
They should only play each other exclusively.
And by the way, the spread matches exactly what you just said. This is -3. That means there's respect for both teams.
Oh,
in
yeah.
this, and I like that a lot. So
Is Washington State a spooky place to play?
at night, yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, this is going to be a wild game. I
It's in
feel
the
sure
like.
is. It's -3.
I might actually watch this game.
I'll watch part of it, but
well, we might be, no, we'll be back by then.
no, it's before our game starts. We'll be
Yeah.
able to flip it on for like a half hour.
Oh, no, we'll be there, actually.
Be at the game, but this is Oregon State -3. A fun game to watch if you're at home. As a gambler, I would stay away from this game and just enjoy it as a thing here. I flip a coin, and who knows? But good for these 2 guys for sticking it out. And look, they're both 3-0. It would be hilarious if one of these 2 teams won the whole goddamn thing just to do it.
I mean, if it's going to be one of them, it'll probably be Oregon State. I don't think
Either way,
Washington
I'll
State
take
can do
either
it.
one. I don't really care. Good for these guys for sticking it out.
Yeah.
Next up, Charlotte at Florida. Florida -28 in this one.
Also a problem that there's a spread on this.
Yep.
So don't bet this.
No. And does Florida care after smashing the shit out of
Well, they
Tennessee?
may want to like pump up some numbers and shit. Etienne's probably. I mean, he's got no shot at Heisman or anything, but I'm sure he's trying to show out for the fucking scouts and such. So maybe they run the score up a little bit, but Florida does not look good enough to. I would expect this to be 34-38, and it's not. So
It's not.
It's a little suspicious.
It is. Same here. That's exactly where I thought.
Like this
one
next
lands.
game is UAB at Georgia. It's Georgia -42. That's exactly where that belongs.
Fuck yeah. That's exactly where it belongs.
Now I might take UAB in the points.
That's a lot of points.
42.
Yeah.
If you tease that up to 49, I'll take that.
There we go. There we go. Me personally, I'm going to stay away from this. I don't know that Georgia cares. Again, what's the motivation for Georgia this year? They're in the playoffs. Having a hard time finding it on a week-to-week basis for Georgia. Next up, we got Texas at Baylor. Texas -15. You know, they didn't look great against Wyoming. What do you think? They're now number 3 in the nation.
This is a rivalry game.
It is.
For sure, and it's a weird place to play. I don't think Baylor's
It's only an hour and a half away. People will go.
I don't think Baylor's that good this year, but this is, if you're Texas and you're trying to maintain your top 4 spot right here, I feel like you need to win this game convincingly.
But this is also like Texas traditionally. This is a weird game that they lose that they shouldn't lose.
And if they're
Texas.
if Texas only wins this game by 1 score, I don't think they get leapfrogged because everybody knows that this is a weird game.
Yep.
It's it's one of those ones where you just got to fucking survive. So I don't know that I go 50, and that's high.
Yeah, I agree.
This could come down to a fucking last possession here.
I agree. Next up, the game that we will be at, Ohio State at Notre Dame. This is the night game here. Again, a ton of amazing games this Saturday. It's just absolutely loaded all day long here. This is Ohio State -3 in this game. D'Anthony, who you got?
I'll take Notre Dame.
Really? Mm-hmm. Taking Notre Dame in this one. Why?
What do you mean, why?
What do you think?
I think that I think Ohio State has played Indiana, Youngstown State, and Western Kentucky, and that Notre Dame has played Navy and NC State, who are real teams. And NC State's not that great, but that's a real team. You know what I mean?
Right.
And Notre Dame's defense has performed quite a bit better than Ohio State, even though Ohio State has looked good defensively. If you look at the raw data, Notre Dame's been better, and I don't believe in McCord. Honestly, that's the main reason. I think Hartman's better than McCord.
Hartman's way
now
better
you
than
guys
McCord.
have better skill position players without question, but I think Hartman's better than McCord, so I'm betting on Hartman.
Hartman is way better than McCord.
And it's at home, you know.
Hartman's going to be a good NFL quarterback.
This is the first time Notre Dame's had a legit shot in a fucking while, and they're going to be amped. That place is going to be rocking. It's like 110,000 people in that bitch.
The last row in the stadium, by the way, is going for $458. That's how amped Notre Dame fans are. is the biggest game they've had at home in 15 years. I mean, it's
Yeah, at least, right? I mean, it's
yeah.
who knows? But I believe in Hartman. I think he's a really good fucking player, so I'm just betting on him. It's not about Ohio State necessarily.
Yeah, so for me in this one, it is talent on the field because I'm with you about Ohio State's schedule. They haven't played anybody. Notre Dame really hasn't played anybody. Navy's tough just because of the weird shit that they do. And they did handle Navy in Ireland. How much of that had anything to do with it? The only thing that I will bet on is talent in this game, just physically on the field, because neither of these teams have really played anybody this year. And I'll knock a half a point off of this and take Ohio State minus 2.5. And it's just purely based on talent because neither of these teams have played anybody this year. So the most difficult thing is when you have the two best wide receivers in college football on the same team, could you just chuck it up in the air and hope they get it every single down? That's what I would do. But I don't know. Like I said at the top of the show, if you're at home and you're able to call out the plays and you know what they are on television, how does Notre Dame not know that? So not really sure. The running backs are good for Ohio State as well. It's just the quarterback. I'm with you. It's just McCord. If it was anybody else but him on there, this would be an easy Ohio State call. It's not.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to go with talent on the field in this one and say Ohio State minus 2.5, and it could be a 3-point game. I think this is going to be a great game. And we're lucky to be here at this one. Holy shit. Next up, we get Iowa at Penn State. Penn State minus 14.5. Another good game here. I mean, it's a Big Ten game. Iowa's got a good defense. Penn State is the best defense in the Big Ten here. But Iowa has no offense. I got Penn State in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take Penn State to win the game, obviously, but the over-under is 40. There's a reason for that. That Iowa knows and Penn State knows that Iowa's only shot to win this game is to grind it to a fucking halt, and that Penn State has to move the ball down the field and stay on schedule to hit that spread. I don't think they're doing it. I think I'll take Iowa plus 14.5.
Really?
I think this is maybe it's a 14-point game, but I don't think it's more than 2 scores.
Okay. I'm going to take Penn State in this one. I don't see how Iowa scores a point, and that's all. Like I could see this being a 20-0 game, 17-3, something like that.
Don't be surprised if Iowa has a defensive or special teams touchdown in this game.
Okay. I just believe in Penn State's defense in this, so I'm going to go with them. Next up, we got North Carolina at Pittsburgh. This is North Carolina minus 7.5.
Didn't Pitt get beat at home by fucking Cincinnati a couple weeks ago?
Dude.
Why is this?
I don't know. And
Any
Carolina's
insight on
number
this
17.
from you two, Dicks?
It's a road game. North Carolina is.
They play at the Steelers Stadium, right? Pitt does.
It's in North Carolina's an inconsistent team, and
True, yeah.
They are.
Drake Mays looked pretty fucking average this year.
He's got 4 touchdowns and 4 picks. That's not the number 1 pick in the draft right there. Hey, sorry, bud. You got offers to go to other schools, and you should have taken it. I know there's not a lot of talent on this team, so I don't know if it's necessarily his fault, but these numbers look like dog
they're pretty
shit.
talented.
yeah, Mac's been recruiting well. It's just more a matter of
So what's wrong with him then this year?
who
Just
May?
trying shit out.
Yeah.
No. Drake May has got 4 interceptions.
They
and 4
may
touchdowns.
just be fucking around because they haven't really played.
Interceptions are not a bad they get like a bad rap. It means you take risks. It means like you're trying to make throws.
And
Like,
you don't.
anyone that has like 0 interceptions kind of sucks because all they do is check balls down.
And it's worth noting, like, there's no context to these interceptions. I don't know if a ball bounced out of somebody's fucking hands or if he was just like they're up 20 on fucking, South Carolina and he's just slinging it. I don't know. I don't know what the context of the interceptions are, but I know he has almost 1,000 yards passing.
Pitt's defense is going to be okay, although compared to like previous seasons, they can't really stop the run that well.
North Carolina's good on the ground this year too.
Yeah. So I would probably lean North Carolina, especially because Pitt's quarterback's awful.
Their whole offense is awful. So is they're actually their pass rush is pretty good, but their run defense, you're right, is pretty bad. At least according to these stats I'm looking at. So
This just doesn't feel like the game North Carolina blows. I mean, so we said Appalachian State was a trap, right? And it is. Appalachian State always plays Big Brother really well. Typically plays Big Brother really well. But man, Like, they looked really fucking competent against Minnesota and South Carolina, who are two competent teams in their own right.
I would say Minnesota's probably a much better team than Pitt.
Either way,
Yeah,
I'm staying away from this. There's 30 games to bet on this Saturday. This is not it for me.
I think this is one of the juiciest lines on the fucking board.
So you're taking Carolina?
Yeah.
Okay.
I maybe by a half point, but I think North Carolina
This should
rolls.
definitely be in your teaser, no?
No. There's 15 games that I like. This is whenever I see a spread like this for a number 17 team in the country against a team that is that bad, it's 7.5. It weirds me out.
I don't think those rankings mean shit this time of year, to be honest.
Maybe.
We're really barely. I know this is a conference game, but we're not really into even the heart of conference play yet, right? We're in
No, we're just starting.
non-con
We're just starting.
season.
This is the first week of it, pretty much, for
Kinda,
everybody.
Yeah, we're in non-con season still. There's still a lot of non-conference games, but it is just the way the schedule shakes out.
Well, more and more teams are starting to only play 3 non-con.
Yeah, they are.
I know.
Like the SEC is already in conference. Next up is USC versus Arizona State. These guys are going to conference. Like,
Yeah, the whole
most everybody
the whole
started.
Pac-12 is in conference now.
The only odd one is Ohio State Notre Dame, but this was a home and home that was agreed to, 8 years ago or whatever it was. So otherwise, they switched out the Indiana game, forgive me. So they started off with a conference game to start off the season in order to put this here for Ohio State. But USC, Arizona State, this is USC minus 35. Caleb Williams has 12 touchdowns, 878. I mean, he's doing what he does. Arizona State, non-existent. 35 points, I don't fuck with that shit.
This is one of the chances he's going to have this season to catch up with Penix. I mean, Penix they're playing Cal this week, so he's probably going to put up numbers too. But
Penix has 500 more yards than him.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying,
That's
dude.
nuts.
Penix is
500.
and I think Shedeur Sanders is about 100 behind him, even as good as he's been. So Penix is way ahead right now. Caleb Williams wants to be a fucking first round draft pick and be a lottery pick and get that signing bonus and blah 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 and all that shit. He's got to he's got to fucking put up 4 or 5 touchdowns.
And he will. And I think they destroy him in this. But 35 in this late game, no. We'll be at the Notre Dame game, Ohio State. There'll be a shit ton of money on everything else.
So Arizona State lost to Fresno State at home last week, 29-0.
Sure did.
So I'm going to go ahead and give USC 35 points. I feel like that's probably as safe as a minus 35 gets.
I think you can't put enough money on the USC team over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the over-under in the game is 62, so don't be surprised if USC wins this game 62-0. Their defense isn't great, so they'll give them some points, but this will not be a close game.
No. Next up, we got Cal. Last game of the week, Cal at Washington. Washington minus 21 in this one. Penix has been on fire. No reason he's going to stop in this game at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in Washington. If it was at Cal, maybe you give them some consideration because they did play Auburn at home pretty tight. It was 14-10. They lost that game. Not that Auburn's at anywhere near the caliber of Washington and Penix and shit, but that's a tough school. They play hard football. That's SEC school. What do you guys think about this one? I think Penix wants it. I'm seeing it more. I want this fucking Heisman out of Penix, and I'm seeing it out of Shedeur Sanders. But I'm not seeing it out of Drake May. And to be honest, I haven't really seen it out of Caleb Williams yet. I mean, he's played well, but he's 500 yards behind.
I think Washington's been the most impressive team this year. They're really good defense. They have 2 NFL caliber receivers. I mean, Penix.
Yeah, what's that
obviously
dude's name? O'Dunsey or some shit? Or Dunsey?
You got Rome. I mean,
They're fucking good, man.
they're stacked.
How do they run the ball? Are they running it much?
They run it pretty well, and it's just like people are gonna write them off because they're Washington and the Pac-12 team, but they are legit.
Dude, this is
national championship.
Pac-12's year. I don't know. That's a dumb move to make writing off Pac-12 teams this year.
Yeah.
2 good Pac-12 teams playing. If this was Washington versus Oregon, I would be very concerned about betting that game because of how much the Pac-12 will fuck you in those games. But against Cal, man, this is I feel like Washington's going to win this by 30 fucking points.
For sure. And I think, look, it's good if he wins the Heisman. It's great for the university. So
Yeah.
Light it up. Either way, ton of big games. This is the best slates of college football games of the year so far. It's going to be a great Saturday all the way around. We will be at the Notre Dame Ohio State game this Saturday. Go to Drinkin' Bros Sports. We'll put up where we're going to tailgate and all that fun stuff. Thanks for tuning in, kids. Go to iTunes, rate the show 5-star, and leave a quick review. Also, head on over to Spotify. It's just a 5-star, and you can walk away. And go to mybookie.com. Enter that promo code Drinkin' Bros to double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Bet with us or against us. You know the rules, kids. For D'Anthony Holloway, I'm Ross Patterson. This is the College Football Prediction Show Week 4.